to Between a Hot Mess and a Therapist, your not so typical self-help podcast for therapists, healers, and helpers. I'm your host, Shauna Lovin, a seasoned therapist with a rebellious spirit. This season, we are redefining freedom, fulfillment, and stability without burning out, self-doubt, or playing by the rules of a broken system. We are cutting through the noise and exploring what it means to truly live life on your terms, not by what society expects of us. No more chasing an illusion of success that leaves you drained, because we are embracing the beautiful messiness, the sometimes chaotic journey we call life. So grab your favorite beverage, get comfy, and let's dive in. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Between a Hot Mess and a Therapist. Okay, so it is super early morning. I'm recording this, but wanted to talk about, have you ever really had a person that you have like this love-hate relationship where you wanted to talk to them or have conversations with them? Well, that's what today's topic is, because that for me is my hubby. So I bring this topic up because a few weeks ago, I was in the kitchen kind of having this conversation. We were just kind of chatting anyway. And part of the conversation came up about how in my own practice, and this is a vulnerability moment, that I just feel like sometimes things are moving like super slow and not really moving in the direction that I would like it to, or any shifts or changes, and was just kind of expressing a little frustration around that. And so we're having this conversation, and he started to talk to me as like he never had spoken before. And this is kind of why I'm bringing it up here, is because normally he would kind of say things like, oh, you've had like a ton of jobs. You are jumping around. You are doing these different things. And this is coming from a man who's had 2 jobs in almost 30 years. And the only reason why he had the second one was because we moved here to Texas. But it just kind of reminded me like our brains work differently, because there was a time where I really just didn't like talking to my husband, because every time it seemed like it would turn into like this random argument about what I'm doing versus what he's doing. And the way he thinks about things and the way I think about things are 2 different ways. And it created a space where I didn't like talking to him about certain things, because I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole of maybe having an argument. I just didn't, or at least a disagreement. And so for a long time, I really just didn't talk to him about certain things. Granted, yes, he's my best friend. And yes, there are going to be people in your life that you will talk to about different things. Like, so you're not going to talk to one person. And if you have that person, awesome, great, like appreciate them. But typically in your life, you're going to have different people that you talk to about different things. And that's kind of what he is for me, because there would be things that I would have conversations with my girls versus things that I would have with him. So it hasn't always been cupcakes and rainbows and peaches with like our conversation, but I'm finding now that he is a little bit more easy to talk to about certain things. I think it's partly because about almost 2 years now, he changed where he was working. So he still works for the same people, but he's doing something a little bit different, which is allowing him to use his mental health skills a lot more. Well, I should just go ahead and say, if you don't know, and if you haven't heard before, my husband is a deputy with the sheriff's office. And now he's working more he's one of those CIT officers where they go out to do mental health calls and do wellness checks. He's one of those now. And he's been doing it for about 2 years. So now what his previous mental health skills were, which were pretty good for an officer, has like tripled, quadrupled since he's been in this department. So I think he's understanding where I'm coming from a little bit more. And our conversations kind of go back and forth now because he's asking questions to be curious about mental health stuff. But yet at the same time, we can have more of a conversation where we're just talking. And so I think that's kind of like where this whole conversation came from to begin with. But I think the one thing that shifted was I actually, been learning about human design, and I pulled his chart, and he is a 2/4 mental projector. So for a person who I already knew processed everything in their brain, was very black and white, this was confirmation that this is who he is naturally. Me as a 3/5 emotional projector, now granted, we are like very similar but very different. I process things through my solar plex, and this is just your emotional space. And so when you're processing information two different, totally different ways, like he's got to talk stuff out. I just got to wait for the emotional wave to kind of pass before I make these big decisions. But in this moment, this was definitely a lesson of human design because he was talking to me about here are some things that you can do to maybe market yourself or make some changes or do things a little bit differently to get the desired result. And he was very specific about what it was. And he actually brought up about all the jobs that I've had over the years and how each one has been different and gave me different skills to be the clinician that I am now. And again, he has never talked about me having multiple jobs like that before, because it's always in the past has been, oh, you've had a lot, you can't keep a job. But again, the way he's processing is different. And so I would get a lot of grief about that. Sometimes it was joking, sometimes maybe not, and it was a little hurtful. But this particular day, a few weeks ago, it was very different from him. And it was, you can do it this, and it was very specific about it. And I'm just like, oh man, that is some like great insight. And for me, having an open head, I have to get ideas from other people. I have to absorb that from other places. And so this allowed me to take in the information, to kind of sit with it, let the emotional wave pass, to figure out like, what am I going to do? How am I going to pivot? How am I going to do things a little bit differently? And this also goes along with me not really wanting to see individual clients anymore. And I haven't for a while, but this is something that I guess I don't openly talk about it, but it's definitely something that has been present and I have figured out about myself as a clinician over time. And I prefer working with associates, and I have a great time working with associates. But I think I've learned that individual clients, it's a lot of energy for me, and it makes sense being a projector because you can't put out a whole bunch of energy. Like you can't. Like energetically, you have to make sure that you do things and you move in such a way where you're energetically holding space for yourself. And I just realized that too many individual clients is not it for me. And I have to find other ways of basically working to make this happen. And it's part of my profile. I'm trying to educate and bring to the masses. So hence the podcast, hence doing workshops, hence doing masterclasses, or maybe public speaking at some point. I don't know. But that would be me bringing things more to the masses, to the collective, than versus working individually. If you look at human design, there's like the lower trigram and the upper trigram. And so if your numbers are like 1, 2, and 3, your profile numbers are on the lower trigram and you are more individually based. If it's 4, 5, and 6 is a profile line, then you are moving more in the people collective type space. So that's like the interesting nuance about like just knowing your profile numbers and how that can help you. And so as my husband is a 2-4, he's not just in his head, he's naturally at doing things, right? But being a 4, he's trying to educate or bring things that he does naturally to his community, his circle, his people that he's directly connected to, because that's important for him. Versus me as a 3-5, I'm experimenting all the time and doing things differently, hence the multiple jobs, hence me trying multiple platforms to work with, hence like just all kind of things, which also could be the reason why practice hasn't gone exactly the way that I had hoped it to be, because I've been trying to figure it out along the way. But also as a 5, I am bringing it to the masses. I am going beyond just my circle. I'm trying to bring it to a larger collective. And so these are the things that knowing about yourself and your human design can change the way you operate and the way that you see the world and how you move through the world. And so this conversation that I was having with my husband this particular day, a few weeks ago, it was just a little eye-opening for me, because not just what am I doing for my practice, it's also human design has also taught me how to have the conversations actually with my husband and operate with him, because I know how he functions, not necessarily that he is all into the woo-woo-hoo and design stuff, but yes, he's aware, not that he practices it, but I know how he is supposed to work, right? I know what he should be doing. And so it has changed the way that I work with him or deal with him or talk with him. And it's just different. And it's amazing how one tool can really change the way that you function in the world. And my hope for you is to just think about, like, what is one small thing or tweak or change can you do so that it can change how things operate for you as a whole? Change your perspective on like how you're moving through this world. It's like, yes, you want to be, the greatest clinician, a beautiful professional. You want to be a great healer, and you really want to help people in that space. But you also have to look at how are you helping yourself first and foremost. And I know I talk a lot about burnout and self-care and all these things, but sometimes helping ourselves goes beyond that. Yes, healing those places or working on those places there are other things that are a byproduct of that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that, you have to totally change everything you're doing. It's the small stuff that we need to fix or move or change in order to really make a big impact. So let me know in the comments, send me an email, some smoke signals, whatever you choose, and let me know what is one small thing that you're going to change so that you can make a bigger impact. Yeah, that's where we're going to leave that one today. My early morning thoughts and conversation. So y'all have a good one. Until next time. There you have it, my friends. Another episode in the books. Remember, it's okay to be a hot mess sometimes. It's all a part of the journey we call life. Until next time, stay rebellious, stay authentic, and keep embracing the beautiful messiness of life. Want to learn more about your unique energetic blueprint? Make sure you download your free chart and learn how it can help you make choices that are aligned with who you are and not who society expects you to be. Please visit ShaunaLovinLPCS.com for more information. Anything mentioned in today's episode will be linked in the show notes. And if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you subscribe, you share with a friend, leave a review, and keep coming back for more.